The Trinity of Marvel Comics revealed. We know the Trinity is a DC Comics, guys, and I gotta say, I love the DC Comics Trinity. Let's see if I like the Marvel Trinity. Here we go.
DC's Trinity, Batman, Superman,
Original link in the description.
and Wonder Woman. These are the three faces of the DC
That's
universe.
them. Absolute version there, but that's cool. I like it.
DC Comics as a brand.
With the old logo. Did y'all see that?
Faces of the DC.
Brand new Absolute with the old DC logo. All right, it's cool. It's cool. It sounds like it might be a Marvel guy, so, you know.
Universe. The
let it slide.
DC Comics as a brand. Whenever you have big events, these three are basically the leading characters.
Yes.
Or some of the main characters in these events.
Do you wish they wouldn't go Trinity so much? Do you wish they'd give some light, screen time, so to speak, to the other characters in the comics and stuff? Or are you fine with the amount they show them?
They will have
Let me
big
know.
roles. They will lead teams. It is a big thing in the DC Comics universe. Because they are essentially the core of DC. They interact with each other incredibly often. They're close friends. They help each other out. They give each other advice. These are three big name characters that really do feel like they are stronger together than they are apart. And this makes me wonder. DC knows of the Trinity. They even had a book called DC's Trinity.
Right.
Multiple team-up books between Batman and Superman, Superman and Wonder Woman, Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's not some sort of like fan-made idea or something.
And even during specific parts of DC's history, like the DC Rebirth era, and during the post-Dark Knight's Metal events, each member of the Justice League basically had a specific leader, like Superman leading the main Justice League, Batman leading the Justice League of America during that short run, Wonder Woman leading the Justice League Dark, which is a great run.
I've never read Justice League Dark. The term, I'm a Superman guy, obviously, but the term dark automatically kind of turns me away a little bit because Superman's on the brighter side. That's why I like him. But let me know in the comments if that's worth a read, if I should read Justice League Dark.
Recommend reading it. But then you take a step back and try to look at Marvel and think, who's Marvel's Trinity? Now that is something that's been...
Okay, before he gets going here, put in the comments who you think Marvel's Trinity should be, okay? Who do you think it should be? And I'll say that I don't think you have to include the same male-female ratio if you don't want to. It could be all women. It could be all guys. I don't really care. Let's not get caught up in that nonsense. Just honestly, who are the big three, you know what I'm saying, of Marvel? Put them in the comments. The team, that is. Not just like the best ones, but the best like triple team.
Been in my mind for a little while now, because if you think, who is the Trinity of Marvel, many people would probably assume, oh, it's Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, right? Well...
You left out Spider-Man and Hulk.
Not really. They are the Trinity of the MCU, of Marvel's Cinematic Universe, because they are the three comic book characters that got the universe.
Another question for you guys. Do you like or dislike that so many people get their comic book fandom, so to speak, from movies? Okay? Let me know if that bothers you. It doesn't bother me when new fans are being created. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't like when they act like the definitive versions are movie characters when the only reason those are there are because of what's going on in the comics. You wouldn't have had Zack Snyder's DCEU if it hadn't have been for things like Injustice, if it hadn't have been for, different stories happening in the comics. I mean, I think that being a fan of the movies should draw you to the comics. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, but I think it should. Let me know what you think of the comics, if that's a good or a bad thing.
Started in the first place and all led into the Avengers movie. And even in Infinity War and Endgame, they were the three main leads of each particular storyline for each of these movies. And Endgame basically started its final fight with these three characters fighting against Thanos at the end of Endgame. So if you thought that these three were the Trinity of Marvel, if you barely read Marvel comics or have not read the comics at all, and then you were just big fans of the MCU, I would not blame you to think that these three are the Trinity of Marvel. And
okay, are we excluding X-Men in this Trinity? Because would you kind of like separate Marvel? I know that X-Men's under Marvel, guys, but would you be like there's a Trinity of X-Men and then there's a Marvel Trinity? Is that kind of what we're doing here? I don't care what you put of yours in the comments. Y'all can include X-Men if you want to. I don't care. But I would also like to know what's your Trinity of X-Men, like a Wolverine, Storm, Gambit, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do with the X-Men as well?
due to brand
Iceman's pretty cool.
And synergy that Disney likes to do with the comics towards the MCU. The comics were seeming like they were going in that direction in terms of how they were leading with their Avengers runs, but these three aren't really Marvel's Trinity of characters. And so with all that set up and in place, who are...
So he's saying if that's who you chose, you're wrong. That's what he's saying.
Are the Trinity characters for Marvel Comics? And that is a big question. Who are the pillars of Marvel Comics in terms of comic books? Their titles: X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. Those are the four big names of Marvel. And later you get Thor, you have the Avengers, Captain America. But if you want to have three particular characters to be the Trinity of Marvel, and when I talk to people, and it kind of
is he saying it's got to be out of those four?
My own suspicions, the Trinity of Marvel is pretty obvious. When you look at Marvel Comics, who are the three most popular, most recognizable characters that have had a lot of adaptations and have had a good number of crossovers and interactions?
I don't know. Wolverine, Spider-Man. I'm going to guess that he's going to say Wolverine and Spider-Man as two of them. I can't figure out the third. Based on what he's saying and how he's saying it, I'm going to say that because Wolverine is a very well-attacked character. Spider-Man, same thing. Like, people were waiting in line for Spider-Man #1, you know, and he was only in fantasy comics. I can't remember. But, yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Wolverine, Spider-Man so far.
Actions with each other. And if you think about it for a second, you know the answer. It's Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk. Yeah, these three are...
I had said Hulk earlier, but I wasn't sure. I really don't know how popular Hulk is in comics. It's weird. I don't read a lot of Marvel comics, but I do have some Hulk-based, Hulk family comics that I like his son Scar, you know, going to Savage Land. Really like that.
Essentially the Trinity for Marvel Comics. Not only are these three of the most recognizable characters in Marvel history, outside of, obviously, Captain America.
Well, and let's put it, if you agree with him in the comments, is that the overall, or at least comic version Trinity?
Because he's Captain America. But these are three characters that not only have led their own team, they've crossed over with multiple different titles and with each other a good number of times, to the point where they are main characters in their own books. Heck, Spider-Man and Wolverine were on the same Avengers team with Luke Cage's New Avengers in the 2000s. That was a fun book. I do say so. That is a really, really fun book. Spider-Man's crossed over with the Hulk a couple of times with one Immortal Hulk run that actually gives us a nice bit of time with Peter and Banner / Hulk. Heck, right now there is actually a Wolverine and Spider-Man comic that's running right now at the time you're recording this video, and it's honestly very good. I'm glad I started reading it. And there's also a Spider-Man crossover with the X-Men where he is a professor at the Jean Grey School for Gifted Youngsters called Spider-Man and the X-Men. It's a more modern book, but it was a really
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I have never read it.
Fun book. And it's also nice seeing Peter be a teacher in general, because that honestly feels like a natural evolution of his character. Make Peter a teacher again, Marvel. It will not kill you. Many people like that run, and my God, does it make sense for Peter to want to help other people as a teacher alongside being Spider-Man? My God, is it the most obvious thing ever outside of having him actually be happy with Mary Jane? For the love of God, give the man a win. Granted, the current Amazing Spider-Man one is actually doing really well.
You know, Stan Lee, he loved that character angst arc in characters, and it's going to always be a Marvel staple. It always will be.
With Peter helping reset him up, and kind of undo some of the damages to his character in life to an extent. But yeah, that's a story for another time. Wolverine's led the X-Men in external material. Ever since the Fox X-Men trilogy in the early 2000s, Wolverine has been propped up in the more modern day as even more recognizable, to the point where he has had multiple different
Do you think Hugh Jackman has a big part to do with why Wolverine became so popular? Put it in the comments. I kind of feel like he does. Look at all them bullets and Wolverine.
World stories, what ifs, and just titles in general where he is the main lead, or just different types of Wolverine titles. The man is recognizable. He is everywhere. Heck, he has an animated series called Wolverine and the X-Men where he is the leader of the X-Men, and it only lasted for one season, despite it actually surprisingly being good. And you would not expect Wolverine to be a leader of the X-Men, but they did a good job with that show. Hulk had 2 movies, a full-on TV show in the 80s until until the 90s, which surprisingly enough was not too bad from what I've watched. I've only watched about 2 seasons of the show. It's not bad, for the time especially. It was actually pretty interesting, if I have to say so myself. It had a full-on animated series, which was going alongside Iron Man the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series. Yeah, that whole show was actually really good, and the amount of characters that crossed over in that show was actually pretty damn fun to see. Let's not forget that Wolverine was introduced in
his original mask is almost there, but just enough to look just dumb. It's just the edit was good.
Freaking Hulk comic, just like how Juggernaut, a X-Men villain, was also in a Spider-Man comic very early on as well. These characters have had a long-standing history of
look good together
and interacting with each other.
The yellow, the red, and the green together, really, that's a great combination. You know, that's really cool, because like Superman and Wonder Woman have virtually the same colors. Wonder Woman's got the white, but that's a good like visual pairing.
Wolverine and Spider-Man have immense respect for each other, and they see each other as friends. Same with Hulk and Spider-Man in specific instances. There are so many moments of these characters interacting, being on the same team, crossing over.
Tell me if you guys think that it's obvious, like he said. Is this an obvious Trinity? I mean, I'm getting what he's saying, but at the same time, I don't know how obvious it is.
It would make sense if these were like the 3 faces of Marvel, if you really think about it, the Trinity. And it would be something really cool to see if Marvel took advantage of that even more, because they are the 3 most recognizable characters and big fan favorite characters in Marvel comics. Spider-Man books, Wolverine books, and Hulk books always sell well. And over the last decade, Hulk has had a lot of interesting changes to his character, his lore and mythos, that has garnered more attention from comic book fans from last I've seen.
One of the things that's changed is just how freaking big he can get. He can really get big.
And has really just evolved the character and added more depth.
I like Scar, his son. I've only read a little bit, but I like his son Scar.
Heck, right now we have the Infernal Hulk run. I'm only 2 issues in, and it's actually insane of what's going on right now. And I'm curious to see why that whole Hulk run.
I feel like I wouldn't like it just from looking at it. One of the things I don't like with Superman is that they're always trying to make him fight some big, new, more powerful villain that's more powerful than him. You know, I hate that kind of stuff. It looks like here they're making him even stronger or something, maybe. I'm just guessing.
It isn't just a whole goddamn event in and of itself, but that's besides the point. Spider-Man has had multiple different spin-off books, whether they be Elseworld titles, flashback arcs, essentially giving their own limited runs. Miles is Spider-Man as well, so he is also a face of Marvel with his own.
Also put in the comments, do you prefer Peter Parker or Miles Morales? Morales, sorry. Let me know. Let me know. I don't know enough about Miles to really have an opinion, to be honest.
Runs as well. And Wolverine, obviously, like I said, he's got multiple different comic books. He's in the X-Men. He's crossed over with so many different characters. And he has a number of children, with X-23, Laura Kinney, being the next generation Wolverine. She's taken up the mantle of Wolverine after the death of Wolverine's storyline. And so she's basically also been Wolverine alongside Logan as.
What's the difference between X-23 and X-24? Let me know. I don't know.
Well, so next generation also makes sense. At least for Spider-Man and Wolverine, you have Miles and Laura being next generation mantle passes. Hulk is a different case. We had Amadeus Cho, but like that run wasn't too great, unfortunately, which sucks. I kind of like Amadeus. He's a pretty fun character, but his comic was kind of okay. And so then again, he was good in the Champions though. A lot of characters were good in the Champions books. I'm going off trail again. Either way, these are the 3 big faces of Marvel Comics, and I really do think that it makes sense. They all get shows or have starring roles in shows related to them. They have a good number of crossovers or interactions with each other in comparison to some other characters, and let's face it, you think of these 3 characters the most when you think about Marvel Comics or TV.
Do you?
These are 3 characters people want to see the most. There's a reason why people want to see new X-Men. Many people want to see more Wolverine. It's why Deadpool Wolverine got so hyped, because
yeah. Well, again, do you think it's Hugh Jackman that's doing this, not, the Wolverine character itself? Obviously, Wolverine was a good enough character because they wanted to bring him to the movies. But, I mean, I loved Wolverine when I was a kid. He didn't heal quite the same way as he does nowadays. Like, it was more of a slow thing. But, yeah, let me know. Do you think Hugh Jackman has a big reasoning why Wolverine's so popular?
Hugh Jackman showed back up as Wolverine again. Many people want a new Hulk movie because they were so disappointed with the MCU's Hulk and how they handled the character.
Do they want what's his face again, or they want another Hulk? Hulk's been recast like 3 times, right?
Who writes with Universal. Spider-Man always gets numbers because it's fucking Spider-Man. These are 3 popular characters. These are 3 characters that everybody loves to their own degrees. And it makes sense that they should be considered the Trinity of Marvel Comics. I do hope that Marvel kind of realizes that, because they've been weird over the last couple of years canceling books that people like, or just being kind of inconsistent to a degree. But I really do hope that they see the potential of having these 3 characters, crossing over more, interacting more, because these are the faces of the franchise for them.
What do you think? Do you think that Marvel should use these characters as an actual Trinity, have them together more, or do you think it would just be like a push for something to compete with DC?
Most part of the entire comic books for Marvel, and people want to see more of them. And who knows, maybe when the MCU inevitably has its own little like mini resets or soft reboot to an extent, we can have more Hulk movies, we can have Wolverine have his own set of stuff outside the X-Men, and we have Spider-Man doing his own thing once more and have them cross over with each other every now and again. But talking about the MCU in general could be something to happen in the near future. But in terms of comics, the Trinity for Marvel is obviously Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Hulk.
Well, there it is, guys. Do you think that's true? Is it obviously Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk? I think they make a good Trinity. I don't know if I necessarily believe that it's the obvious, but you guys will let me know. Remember, I got all sorts of Superman stuff in one spot just for you in my Amazon store in the description. Like Superman, live humbly, do good.